A man should be the provider, right? So it came to a point that he relaxed, knowing that my wife is working, of course, is gonna provide. Understand? Mama, babako na mpoa huko nyuma. I'm like, what? Say, kuna mpoa huko nyuma. I see he's seated with a girl, and they are having a wine.
Your mental health was not safe when you were with this guy? Or maybe, did you get to a point that this guy was maybe abusing you, maybe beating you at times?
He didn't want you from the start, but you kept pushing, you see? So they backed off. It was like, they were happy.
Going through this, I need some help, I need some advice. Was there any guy who was giving you maybe emotional support, or maybe a family guy who you are talking to, so that you can relieve yourself from the things that you're going through?
My question is, what are some of the strategies that you think the married people should put in place to ensure that there's that connection?
Hello everyone, welcome back to Desert Vibes podcast, where we dive deep into topics that inspire, uplift, and helps us live our best lives. I'm your host, Dennis Kamau, and today we're gonna be tackling marriage and relationship topic. So we have a guest right here. Her name is Sasha, and she has a very good experience, and we're gonna know more about her, and she'll tell us her things. Yeah. Thank you and welcome. So, welcome, Miss Sasha.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you can tell our audience what's your name. Yeah, and someone who would like to know more about you.
Okay. Thank you. My name is. My name's Richard on birth certificate. It's Abigail Sandra, but my friends call me Sasha, and here I'm well known as Game Changer. Okay, born and raised in Mombasa, a small village called Magongo. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So, yeah, can you tell us more about marriage, what you understand with a marriage or relationship that is healthy and the one that is not healthy? Based on your experience, by the way. Yeah.
Okay, to me, the word abusive marriage and marriage that there is no communication to, let me say, on and off relationship. Yeah.
On and off relationship. Okay, so based on your own experience, because the story that we had behind the scenes, you are saying that you got into divorce, so because the marriage was unhealthy for you. Yeah. So what made you see that the relationship or the marriage wasn't working for you? The signs?
Okay. When I got married, I was the breadwinner, because that time my husband, he was working, but his income was not that much. So I had a better job than him. So I used to support him. I used to, do everything in the house. But it came a point that I saw he was relaxed. He was not, a man should be the provider, right? So it came to a point that he relaxed, knowing that my wife is working, of course, is gonna provide. Understand? So, and then another thing, he was, I don't want to use a bad word. He was, I would say, aldatrous. Yes, he was aldatrous. This is the same man that I used to work from 7 to 1 midnight. I'm out there working myself out, and he will still bring women in our matrimonial bed.
Well, that's tough.
Yeah.
So, because you are the breadwinner, this guy became comfortable. Like, you were working, he was not doing any effort in maybe searching for job or doing something like supporting in house chores and such kind of things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is tragic. Yeah. I've never been married personally, but a guy with such kind of personality, I really don't know how I can describe him. But for us gents, we really need to shape up. Yeah, because you need to be masculine, man. Like, yeah, masculinity doesn't mean you start beating someone or you start doing some small things that they don't make someone benefit. But working on yourself and working on other people's life as well, like ensuring the other person's mental health is okay. Yeah. So, in this relationship and marriage, did you come to a point whereby you saw that maybe your mental health was not safe when you were with this guy? Or maybe did you get to a point that this guy was maybe abusing you, maybe beating you at times?
Yeah, yeah, because each time we had a misunderstanding or, yeah, he will beat me up. I remember there is a time he beat me up. I was 7 months pregnant.
D-
Yeah.
That's tough. I can't really imagine, but you want to say you were pregnant, you were working, he wasn't working, and despite you bringing food on the table, he went to an extent of beating you.
Yeah. I came home that day. It was on Eid. So I have a son. He was 3 years, and this boy was very sharp. So when I came to the house, he was like, "Mama, babako na mpoa huko nyuma." I'm like, "What?" Say, kuna mpoa huko nyuma. So I just ignored him. I got inside, freshen up, eat. Then I said, this man, I went to work early in the morning. I'm back in the house. He can't even say, let me go inside and check my wife. No. Okay, I decided, let me go and see what he's doing. So when I go to the back of the house, we used to live in a house and we had like a compounder behind the house. So I get there, I see he's seated with a girl and they are having a wine. So I'm like, please, can we talk? He told me, what? Can't you see I'm busy? Say, I just got home and you can't even come to see how I'm doing. So in the middle of the conversation, yeah, he just hit me in front of the lady. And that was so bad.
Yeah, so this guy was very abusive in short.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the early signs that, or what led this guy to start doing things? You know, when someone starts a certain behavior, because if he was doing it every day, or let's say every week, it became habitual. But there is a way he started and showing you the disrespect and stuffs. How did it start?
Like sometimes he used to stay out late. He will come like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So when I ask him, he's like, I was out with my boys. I was chilling with my boys. Or because I used to work late. I'll come from work at 1 or 12 midnight. I worked at Pizza Inn. So he knew that all this time I will not be in the house. So he will stay up late with the excuse of you are not in the house. So when you come back, it's when I'll come back also.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
that was the excuse.
So you used to do the house calls and also working at your shift.
Yeah, I remember that I used to wake up at sometimes 5. I cook. 5 a.m. I will cook, leave the food in the fridge, and 1 I'll be going to work. 7, I mean, I'll be going to work.
7.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how your kid grew up, because how old is he now?
The firstborn is he's turning 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
November.
Mhm.
Yeah. But believe you me, Right now, even if the dad calls, he will call my mother. The kids are with my mother right now.
Okay,
So he will call up my mother, and calling up my mother, it's me, I'm pushing him. Please talk to your kids. Even if we're separated, even if we're divorced, you don't put our kids into our fight. Okay, because those kids, they didn't ask us to come into this world. We plan to have them.
Yeah.
And they owe us nothing. We owe them everything. So please just talk to your kids. So I will push him time and a time. Please talk to your kids. Call my mom and talk to your kids. So he will call maybe once or twice in a year. And each time he will call, you know what my son will say? Do we have a father? He will tell my mother, do we have a father? We don't have a father. All we know that we have a mother. We don't have a father. And honestly, that things really breaks me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. So, you can have tissue, please. How did you grow up? Like, how was the life or the love of the family when you were growing up?
Okay. I didn't see my mother and father fighting. If they had their issues, they will talk their issues inside. But they will not show it up to us. So I grew up and my mother is a very spiritual person, up to date. Very spiritual woman. Yeah.
So, which religion? Which religion?
My parents are Christians.
Christians.
I converted after their marriage because my husband is a Muslim.
Okay. He was a Muslim.
My ex-husband.
Wow. He was a Muslim.
Yeah,
so,
he was a Muslim.
Can't you convert back to Christianity because you broke up?
Okay, I didn't convert because he was not only just a Muslim, but also because I loved the religion. Yes. So I won't say that I will go back.
You met up with this guy. You truly didn't know each other, right? So was it an arranged marriage, or which kind of marriage did you get into? Like,
No, because we dated first. Before we got into marriage, we dated. But his family was against it.
what advice would you give to the ladies who force themselves into marriages where the in-laws are saying, nah, we don't need that guy in our family or that lady in our family?
Okay, actually, for some it works. For some it works, but it will only depend on the man. If the man will say, this is the woman I've chosen, yeah? And he stands by his word, it will work. Because you see, in my own case, I think it didn't work because when it reached a point that the man started pulling away, the family was happy about it because they were like, we told you, we warned you, we didn't want you from the start, but you kept pushing, you see? So they backed off. It was like, they were happy.
Okay, so we can say it's the peers of the parents and his family.
Yeah, I will say that also. It's also contributed in a way. Now, during that time, I was once in a mental hospital because this thing really affected me, and my mother was far. My father, they are not divorced, they are separated because my father later got another wife. So they separated with my mom, and I felt like I was alone. Yeah. And mind you, I come from a very wealthy family. Yes, I come from a very wealthy family, but I didn't want to tell my parents my problems. I'm one kind of a person that I believe in, what can I say? I'm a very patient person. To reach a point that I call them and tell them, Mommy, I'm hungry. Mommy, I need this. It takes a lot. And I have to be pushed too much for me to call them. So each time when I call my mother and tell, she didn't even wait for me to finish. Just say, okay, I'll send you the money. And pop, she will send the money.
Okay, and when you are getting into this, did you set boundaries with the guy? Because boundaries, they help. I don't know which type of boundaries. Did you set boundaries with him?
As in the marriage or?
No. When you're dating.
Uh-huh.
When you're dating.
Okay, I think when we were dating, there were some red flags, but I chose to ignore.
So there's a Swahili proverb that says, you need to go back to where the rain started beating you. So we can say the rain started beating you when you ignored the red flags, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell us more about the red flags? Like,
Just like I say, this guy will ghost me like 2-3 days, then come back with an excuse. My phone got blocked, la la la, like that.
so the phone got blocked.
Got lost.
Got lost. And his legs?
Huh?
His legs, he was still with his legs. He could walk
Yeah.
back home, right? So it's just an excuse to get away with it.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
He will, and then he was not, for a relationship to work, you have to be consistent, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talk in the morning, then I have to ask him, how have you been? If I don't communicate, he won't communicate.
So which type of consistency? Like in which manner? Because someone can be consistent in a negative way, you know? Yeah, like he wasn't coming home sometimes. What if he became more consistent is in not coming home? Like which consistency are you talking
That
about?
was before. That was when we were dating. You understand?
Yeah.
So later on, when we got married, and he used to stay out until 3, 4. Sometimes he even comes at 7. Then it came back to my mind that when we were dating, he used to ghost me like 2-3 days. So this thing, and I came to realize that it's his behavior. This is something that I ignored back then when we were dating, but now I can see it in reality now that we're in marriage. Yeah.
Okay, so when you're going through all these, was there anybody that you are informing behind the doors, you know what, I'm going through this, I need some help, I need some advice? Was there any guy who was giving you maybe emotional support, or maybe a family guy who you are talking to so that you can relieve yourself from the things that you're going through?
I have a friend, his friend is our mutual friend, in fact. He was his friend, and he introduced me to him. So I used to talk to him so much. He was here before. And he's the one who brought my ex-husband here in Qatar. Yeah. So I used to share so many things with him.
So a friend to your ex-husband, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm a gent, and most of the things that I usually discuss with my friend about the things that are happening on the scenes, we usually discuss, and most of the time, anyway, let me not dive into that. The interview is not mine, it's yours. So anyway, what about family members? Did you share anything with your mom, maybe your bro?
Yeah, with my mom, yes, but I didn't want to put too much pressure on her because she's sick. My mom is diabetic. So each time I will tell her, I'm going through this, it will really break her. So
Okay.
I used not to tell her too much. So I think keeping these things to myself, it's when I developed depression. And it was so bad. By the time they realized it was so bad that they had to take me to a mental hospital.
Was it a mental hospital or to a therapist? Because I think
Mental hospital.
mental hospital.
Yes.
Whoa. Okay.
I was very violent. You try to come near me, I will fight you. Only for my kids. When my kids, that's what my mom was telling me later, that only when my kids are there, I will be
cool.
calm. But anybody else, I was very violent.
Okay, so like for us, you're not yet, like for me, not for us, I'm talking on my behalf. I'm not yet married. And what do you think I should consider so that I can keep my, all of us, we tend to say, I want to get married till I die,
Till death was part.
Yeah. So what can you advise
To me,
me
it's different.
personally?
To me, since then, I have this thing. I always say that divorce papers is always the best than death certificate.
So you're saying divorce is better than death certificate?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't have to be in that marriage to please people. In our African culture, we have that thing in our mind, especially us women. We have that thing that if I get out of my marriage, how will people see me? If I get out of my marriage, how will the society see me? You see? So, no, you don't have to be in that marriage to please people. Huh? If it reaches a point that there is no love, there is no respect, no, just pull out.
So you're saying some people usually say, watu watasemaje?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, because I think far away from marriage, sometimes we usually judge ourselves. What if I do this thing and it turn out to be negative? What will people say about me?
That's the mindset we have. Especially us Africans, that's the mindset we have, that if I do this, people will. But it's the same people, when you die in that marriage, they say, alikuwa hapendwi lakini bado ameng'ang'ana tu kwa hiyo ndoa. The husband was doing this and this and this, but she was still inside that marriage. The same people.
Okay.
So you don't have to listen what the people will say. After all, you are kids. Because to me, it reached a point I said, I'm in this marriage. Before moving out, I stayed 6 months. This man was not sending anything. And he was here in Qatar. Nothing. 6 months. I have a newborn. When I went to deliver this baby, it's the neighbors who contributed for me to get out of that hospital. I came back home. I have a newborn. He doesn't even care. For 6 months, he's not sending anything. You get? Okay. So it reached a point I say, the neighbors used to cook. I used to have very good neighbors. The neighbors used to cook. One will bring breakfast, another one will bring lunch, another one will bring supper for 6 months. But one day I just sat and said, how long? Because after all, these people are going to get tired. You understand?
Yeah.
These people are going to get tired. So when they get tired, what will happen to me and my kids? I have to find a solution to get out of this shit. Yeah.
And what's the storyline behind you being the breadwinner, him coming here in Qatar, you being back at home with a kid?
Yeah, because now when I was pregnant, the work became heavy for me. I was pregnant, and then it was I think
during COVID?
Yeah. So he told me, I talked to his friend. I told him, can you please help me to get him a job? Maybe when he moves out of the country, maybe he will have more experience and
exposure.
Yeah, exposure. And we talked about it. He said, okay, I know you've worked hard for this family, so it's time now you be at home, take care of the kids, let me go and work. That was the agreement. And I remember my manager, he even came to my house and told me, Sasha, don't leave your job. Don't. I was like, maybe he has realized his mistake. Maybe he has realized that I've worked so hard for this marriage. Let me try. And he told me, okay, you have my number. You need anything, you want to come back to the company, just call me. I was like, okay. Ooh, little did I know.
Okay, so the first month, he did nothing, he said nothing.
Yeah. In fact, he went 1 month, no communication. So he communicated, I think the second month. I told him, what happened? You went, you didn't communicate, you didn't tell me how you got there, if you already started working. Then he told me, you know what, it's a process because to come here, you have to get a line, you have to settle down. I was like, okay.
He had to settle down. Wow. So if he used to give excuses back home, so it means when he came here, he had experience, because as we tend to do things every now and then, we get more experience in it. You're getting my point?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if he used to give excuses, it means when he came back here, not back here, but when he came here, he was already used to maybe giving excuses, and maybe you used to understand him. So, yeah, you can say he gave an excuse. And did you try to figure out if he's getting paid or something like that?
Sometimes he will even tell me, you know, I've been, now it's the second month, we've not been paid. But you forget that Hamza is our mutual friend and they used to work together. So I
Okay.
will text Hamza, hi Hamza, how are you? I'm fine. Hamza, why your boss didn't pay? What? We've been paid. I say, why is your friend telling me that they've not been paid? Say, you know him. They've been paid. We've been paid.
Okay. So we can say he was a minister of enjoyment, or based on your story that you have given, your experience actually, yeah. I'm really learning a lot from it, and I hope our audiences as well are learning a lot. And I think the audiences may have some questions which they would like to ask before we continue. Social media and the technology era, right? Okay.
Let me let me first say that, you know, my ex-husband used to go to the bathroom with his phone. This man, when he's outside, when you try to call him and his phone, you will find him. But inside the house, he'll put flight mode. Then another thing, when he was here in Qatar, he used to do TikTok, I used to see him. And you go to the comments, there's a way that if you're a married man, there's a way that you'll portray yourself out there. Yeah?
On social media and
But
stuff.
you see the comments, the way he talks to women out there through TikTok or whatever, the social media, it was very disgusting. Yeah. And it even came to a point that some women, I don't know how they came to find out that this guy was married, and they used to insult me. I don't know how they'll get my number, but you just hear like, I'm your co-wife. And I just used to laugh because if this is what you call a husband, or if this is what, because I know him inside out, but maybe outside there he will portray to you he's a good man, he's this and this. So I just used to ignore it.
Yeah, so a man is supposed to protect his family. Yeah, and based on that experience, it means your man was not protecting you, because there's no way I'm married and my wife is being maybe insulted by others. So I'm the one who is supposed to protect her, because I'm the head, right? So I can say we as gents, we need to protect our own people, our family actually. Whether you're married, whether you're not married. If you're not married, you need to learn from other people's mistakes. If you're married, you need to work on that. If you're going through something, that's why when we started, I said something to do with working on yourself. Yeah, any other question from the audience? Sure. I can repeat the question. I think having an extra microphone will be better. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Abdul.
Okay.
I have a question for the guest. So, how long did you date your ex-husband?
1 year.
How was he in that dating period? Was he someone you were looking forward to have a family and kids with?
Like I said, I think I saw the red flags, but I was blinded and I decided to ignore. That's what I can say. Because in this dating period, he used to ghost. 2-3 days, you don't see him. Then he will come back with an excuse. My phone got broken, I lost my phone, something, and he will always find a reason.
But you were fine with it then, eh?
Love.
Okay, so my question was, has he ever complained about you, like you don't do something for him or you have changed yourself?
Okay. The only thing he used to say that he will say I'm overthinking. Because how do you expect me to react when you come back 5 in the morning and you're not working? You come back at 5 a.m. in the morning. So when I complain, he will be like, you are overthinking.
Okay, but I will say you gave him the pass before.
Okay, thank you. Any other question from the audience, please?
My name is Ephraim. I just have a few questions. What were you doing before you met your ex-husband?
What I was doing?
Yeah.
In terms of working, what?
Yeah, maybe working. And what were your husband doing before?
I was working, yeah. I was a receptionist at Travelers Beach Hotel in Mombasa.
So you said you used to work. Your husband was?
He worked in inaitwaje?
Don't mention the place. It's okay. It's okay. But
Just say what he was used to do, to be doing.
He was working, but on and off. It's not something you can say he was working at the end of the day, he has salary. No.
So it wasn't a permanent thing.
Yeah.
So he used to work to provide for him and the kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we can proceed. Any other question from the audience? We'll have more questions afterwards. Okay, we have one. Sure.
I'm Edward from Mombasa as well. I have just one question. Okay, in this audience here, is there an advice that you can give to them? Like, is it advice or warning? Either way, you can tell them like, if you can, like, what are the causes of divorce in most marriage today? And is it right for a woman to support his man to stand up? Because a marriage is a union, So that union, it means like you can even stand for your man to be able to be a man enough for you to see him as a man. I think you understand what I'm saying, right? So what is your advice for those people who are not yet married? Because for me, I'm already married, and I know. Okay. And which, like, any advice that you can give to them, like, this is how it's supposed to be because I did this and this is what happened to me. You understand? Because at first, there is that kind of feminism in women. Because at first I heard you saying like, the guy was not working, and I was the only one who was working, and I come back at home, find him with drunkard, and it was like waywarding, So there must be a reason, you understand? Because the guy, he's not murdered now. Is he crazy, or you took him to potteries or something? Did you took him before? It means there must be a reason, right? So try to, not to specify like, I used to do this, and I know that you will not declare that, right? Maybe he came to realize like there is something that you have been doing behind his back. That's why he decided to take that path. Whereby when you are alone, you can even apologize to God like, this is what I did and I made this mistake and I will never ever.
So, Mr. Edward,
so
the microphone.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
little
will
bit.
never try to to repeat this anymore. So my word was like, or question, which advice would you be able to give to those people who are not yet married? At least they can understand if the road is tough or
Okay, I got you.
Okay, thank you so much. We can proceed. I hope there's no any other question from the audience. If you have any, so we'll ask at the end. Yeah, so. Okay, we have one more question from Abdul.
Yeah. Okay, I have one more question. Is there anything that you would have done different that would have changed the outcome of your marriage? Do you think there's anything you would have done?
Bro, 8 years in marriage is not a joke. And I will tell you, in those 8 years, maybe 1 year I was happy. 8 years. Can you imagine going to labor? You're going to labor, and your husband doesn't know about it. You come out of labor, your husband doesn't know about it. His cousin posts our baby, and he asked him, "Who is that child?" His cousin said, "Bro, this is your child." He was like, "Oh, my child." And you went to Qatar, you left me behind, I was pregnant.
Okay, well answered.
Okay, sure. We have another question from the audience.
Let me answer that one.
Sure.
There's something you said. Huh? You say that I used to work and my husband used to stay at home. Maybe there's something I do. Bro, I'm a very loyal woman, and I'll say that again and again. Believe me, you not. Where I used to work, I was a receptionist, and you know what reception means. And this is a 4-star hotel. I used to meet people. I used to meet with any very, very wealthy people. And trust me, some will come to you and tell you, "You know what? I want to marry you. I want this, blah, 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 blah." But I didn't give in. I loved my husband very, very much. And I remember I used to pray for him very much. So I'm not that kind of, I'm not moved. No matter what you come to me with, you'll come with money, what, cars, need. I'll not be moved. I love that guy. Even if he's broke, I loved him.
So you
And
are
that's
not like a
what
lukewarm.
kept me in that marriage for 8 years.
So you are not like a lukewarm. You are not swayed. You are this side. You are this side.
Never.
Okay. Okay, please.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. So, I think my question goes in terms of marriage, because now you see most of us are working here in Qatar, and maybe some of us we've left our husbands.
The microphone. The microphone.
Some of us have left their husbands and their wives back in the country where we come from, and then there is that distance. And you see, with long distance relationships, it needs so much for it to work in terms of communication, in terms of connecting. So my question is, like, what are some of the strategies that you think the married people should put in place to ensure that there's that connection after the long distance, and like maybe there's a conflict? Like, you find yourself, maybe you're married, like maybe out of 7 days, maybe 5 days you're having issues with your partner. So what are some of the strategies that you think the couples should put in place to ensure that there's that smooth transition from the conflicts and having that mutual understanding that it's just a matter of distance, but we're still married? Thank you.
Okay, like I said first, for a marriage to work, or for any relationship to work, there must be communication. Communication is the first key, okay? And the second thing is
Consistency.
yes.
Yeah.
You know, I'm your wife. Okay, I know with time, I will know what time you're going to work and what time you're at home. But you don't tell me that you have time to post in TikTok, but you don't have time to call your family. You get? Yes, I see you. You are in a live in TikTok, but you don't have time to call me and ask. Okay, don't call me. Call your kids. Ask about your kids. But you have time to go live. You make TikTok. You make content. But you can't. You don't have time to call your family. For me, that's a no.
Okay. So, any other question from the audience? Sure. I think we need a microphone for that. Yeah, we really need a microphone. So, can you repeat your question, please? The microphone. So,
My name is Hamza. So my question is, everybody is just highlighting on your kind of situation that you passed through. So my question is, you've been through a lot, that's for sure. All of us know about that. So a man comes to you now, okay? The guy wants you to be a wife. So what are the conditions or terms, whatever? Because as per your previous, it was tough. But what did you learn from that you need from a new guy who is willing to have you as a wife? For instance, now.
I don't want to put myself in a situation that that I will contradict myself.
have you ever told this guy that there's something that you're doing that is really not good, it's really affecting me, and it's really affecting this relationship? Did you ever tell him something that he should change?
But each time we will talk, my
Your microphone,
ex-husband
please.
was a person that I told you that this guy, he was, I don't know his character. You will talk to him and he'll just stare at you like this. So you will talk. Then I'm like, are you hearing me? Okay, he used to avoid. He didn't want any serious. Whenever we have a serious conversation, he will avoid it.
And the timings of the serious conversation, you need to, sometimes you need to read someone's mood. Like, I can be angry and you want to tell me something that will really affect me emotionally. So you need to go with the timings as well. Is this the right time I should ask him this question? Is this the right time I should tell him to do this and this and this? So I don't know. Were you considering that? Like,
Yes. But I'm telling you, he used to avoid. You talk about other things, he's okay. But when it's time for serious, he'll always find an excuse. Oh, I'm tired, let me sleep, or what, blah, blah, I have to do, like that. He will always avoid serious conversations.
he used to avoid serious conversation. Okay. So, and things that are serious, maybe let's say about kids and stuffs, because these things cannot be avoided. The academy of the kids. You used to discuss with him as well?
Yeah. I remember there's a time I also told, you need sometimes, to, like I said, I'm the one pushing him up to date to talk to his kids. So there's a time I asked him, my mother called him, and my mother told him, these kids, they don't bear my name or my husband's name. These kids bear your name. So you don't want, okay, you divorced with your mother, but these are still your kids. How comes you don't even reach out to your kids? You're not paying for their school fees. You're not doing anything for their upkeep. But at least be there emotionally, talk to your kids time to time. But he doesn't care. I will say again and again, your kids didn't ask you to come into this world. You plan for the kids to come into this world. They owe you nothing, you owe them everything. So no matter what you are going through, no matter divorce, whatever, you must be there for your kids. And don't use divorce or separation as an excuse that I divorced their mother, so I will not take care of their kids. No.
Of the kids, I mean.
Yeah, you must be there for the kids. Regardless, you must be there for those kids. And another thing I will say, and I will say again and again and again, and one day if my kids get to see this video, I will say it again. And I thank God, and I'm still praying to God that He give me the grace to bring these kids. I don't want them to be bitter. I want them to be better. Yeah, I want to raise men and women whom your kids will be safe in their hands.
Okay.
I don't want them to go through what I went through. I don't want them to put other daughters to what I went through. And inshallah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, we all want good life for our kids and
Yeah.
other people as well. So, what kind of personality is a good husband? It's a tough question.
To me right now, talking about husband, no. I don't
Based
want
on
to
your
do-
experience, no, what kind of personality? Because there's someone who is watching right now, and she really want to know which kind of a man should I be with in relationship? The kind of a man that I want to have kids with.
I will say in general, a responsible man.
A responsible man.
Yes, a responsible man. Because a
Your
responsible
microphone, please.
man, a responsible man, even if you're divorced, he will come for his kids. He will still take care of his kids, even if you are separated. But if you're not responsible, even if you are in the, there are some men, you're still in the marriage and they are not responsible. So why stay in that marriage when somebody is not even responsible? Yeah, it's good you get out of that marriage, but I'm not saying that you should get out of your marriages. But when it reaches a point that a man is there with you and is not even, it doesn't even care, why should we be in that marriage?
I really have another tough question.
Okay.
So, what kind of support were you giving to your husband back then?
Hey. Damn. What kind of support?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want my brother there will think that I'm selfish, but I'm not. These things happen, bro. And those people who know me at a personal level can attest to this. These things do happen. I used to pay the house rent.
So let's say, let's forget about the financial support.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's forget about the financial support. Other supports.
Other support. I talked to his friend to bring him here in Qatar. Yes.
So, and the goal of bringing him here to Qatar so that he can get the money to do
To
something.
support us, yes.
Still in finance. So, something else. Let's say like mental health. Working on his personality. Because most of the time we usually say that, like for me, I will say, I want someone who will be responsible for my life. Like she should do something that will really support me. I want someone who will take care of my mental health, who will be able to know my moods, who will be able to do this and this and this. So,
Wait, I think marriage is supposed to be a 50-50 thing, right?
50-50 what?
It's supposed to be any. Why if you're not giving me any support, what do you expect? You're already oppressing me, you're already pushing me, then you still expect me to give you support?
Okay, so they usually say, if you see, let's say this is a beam balance, this side is supposed to balance with the other side. If this side goes down, you try to take some things from this side and you put on the other side so that they can balance, right? Or you do some adjustments. True or false? So if you are being overworked. You are supposed to do something so that you can balance in a way that it won't have led to these chaotic things that happened back then.
Okay, I get. But to me, I thought maybe if he goes out, if he goes out of the country, maybe he will change his mindset. He will think, okay, now I know that I have a family back at home. I thought maybe coming here it will change.
You thought?
Yeah.
Did you ever ask him?
We even discussed.
With
I told you
him?
that he told me to he asked me to leave my job.
Okay.
Yeah, and take care of the kids while he's away.
There's something we call expectations versus reality. An episode we had last. So he was expecting something, but the reality became something different, you know? So I don't know if you reached out and asked him, is something tough, like something that is leading you to not do this? You reached out,
Yeah.
but
many
he never
times.
cooperated,
No.
which is very tough. Because sometimes we expect something, we usually raise our expectation. Right now, Sasha, you promised me something, and that is like an oath. And I will expect you to do it. But in return, you forget that you made an oath somewhere and you do something different.
Okay.
Not because you don't want to accomplish the promise that you gave, but because maybe the reality is totally different. Like something that you are promising, for you to accomplish it, it will take time. And the best thing that the guy could have done, it's maybe lying to you or doing something that could have maybe worked on his mental health. Let's say like the social media. You said something to do with TikTok, right? So maybe he was doing this not for fun or showing off, but for his mental health. Did you ever ask him, why are you on TikTok so much in a way that you're not even replying to my messages? You're not doing anything. You're not reaching out to the kids.
He blocked me.
He blocked you.
Yes.
Oh, that is tough.
He blocked me, and I remember when he was deported. So after him
Oh my
being in
God.
Kenya is when he remembered, oh, I have a wife
Ah,
somewhere.
okay. So,
That's when he unblocked me.
can we say something like a wrath of God that, that made this guy to be deported? Anyway, before you continue, ensure you hit that subscribe button and give us the thumb. Yeah. So, any question from the audience before we wrap up?
Responsible man is someone who is responsible for his actions.
According to her experience, she should elaborate who is a responsible man. The floor is yours.
I said it. I said that one who is responsible for his actions, right?
Actions, so responsible for his actions.
Yes.
There are so many questions there.
Wait. You brought kids into this world. Huh?
Sure.
So who are you expecting to raise those kids? It should be me and you. So just because we are separated, just because we are divorced, then you pull away. So what do you expect? Another man to come and raise your kids? No.
So responsibilities, right?
Yes.
So that is one personality. Another one,
Another one is communication.
communication.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it should be consistent. You don't talk to me today, then 3 days, then you come. You know, you come with so many excuses. No.
Uh-huh. So when you talk of communications,
I always say that
uh-huh.
nobody is too busy for somebody he loves. Nobody. Even the pilot will call his wife before he flies the aeroplane or whatever. Yeah, nobody is too busy. It just, I send you a hi, 7 in the morning, then you come to answer me 6 p.m. Doesn't work that way. Okay, you are held up. I know that you are busy, you are working. Just tell me, you know what? I'm working, I'm busy. I'll talk to you later. That's fine. But you don't expect, I text you at 7 a.m., you reply at 6 p.m. No.
We have one more question here. A piece of advice. We got one question there. So, a piece of advice to someone who is not responsible, to a man, to a gent who is not responsible, or person who is maybe behaving the same way like the way your ex-husband was behaving. What advice will you give to him?
Okay, before I answer that,
Mhm.
there is something I've also seen in women now. There are some women, when they divorce or they separate or whatever, they tend to use
Microphone.
their kids as a weapon to attack the husband.
Okay.
Also, women do that. I've seen a lot, and you find a man is trying to reach out to his kids, but the woman will refuse simply because they had a divorce or because they separated. So I think also as women, we should learn that recently there was a very big wedding in Nigeria. I think you saw. Iyabo. That woman, she's my role model. That woman is a very strong woman. Despite his husband leaving her with the kids, that woman struggled with the kids to a point where he is. And I know many people didn't expect to see his husband in that wedding. But believe me, the husband was the one who walked the daughter down the aisle. That woman, she really gave me another perspective on this marriage toxic thing. Because from her story, it's almost the same. The husband left him when he was having the baby. But see what she did. She brought the ex-husband to the wedding, of which most of us will not dare do that, but she did it. So, okay, divorce or a separation, it should not be bitter. It's just that you didn't agree. It was just a disagreement. So it should not be a bitter, it should not be a bitter thing. You go your way, if you have kids, let's co-parent. We can work just for the sake of these kids. You can have your partner, because I remember there's a time he called me, my husband, when he was back now in Kenya. He called me and he was like, I want my kids. I told him, you want your kids now? When were you all this time now that you want your kids? He told me, I'm married. Now I'm married because when he went back to Kenya, he married. I want my kids because now I'm married. I asked him, how long have you been married? He told me 1 month. I asked him, do you think 1 month is enough for you to have known this woman? Because you came from Qatar just like 1 month ago. So do you think you know this woman to a point that you want me to bring my kids to her, to take care of her? She was, yes, she's a nice woman. I love her, and I already told her about the kids, so she's okay with the kids. 2 weeks, they were divorced. So can you imagine if I brought my kids and gave her to live with this woman, the so-called wife? 2 weeks, they were divorced. So I don't want to create, that's why I say that right now my focus is not on, I don't want any relationship, because now my focus is, I don't want to bring another man into my kid's life, then, maybe later the same thing happens or something. No. Now my focus is on my kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So there's my fellow thematic. His name is Kabua. He usually say, despite the situation being negative, you should see everything, either challenging or not challenging, good or bad. You should see it or you should take it as a stepping stone. You got my point?
Yeah.
So, and considering your situation, it was a very challenging situation. So, is there something that you took for granted that right now you're grateful for? Something you took for granted, yeah. Like you thought maybe it's something that is very bad, maybe like you just took it for granted. I guess you got my point. Okay. Yeah, my question, I mean.
Yeah, like I said, because before I got into this marriage, his people were against it. You see? But just because we were stupid in love, I thought, okay, because he loves me, no matter what his people think about it, because he loves me. You see, I had that because I thought he's going to stand by me. But at the end of the day, he pulled back, and now his family was using now that against it. That we told you, we didn't want you from the beginning, but you insisted.
Insisted.
Yeah.
Wow. So what can you advise me personally?
You married?
No. From the beginning, I said I'm not married.
What can I say?
Or you want to know more about my personality?
No. You just pray. Just pray. Yes. Ask for God. Yes. True. Just pray. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we don't have any other question from the audience, and we really appreciate you all. So ensure you hit the subscribe button, give us the thumbs up, comment there, be part of the conversation. If you're going through something, you can just hit on our inbox on our social media platforms. So at Instagram, and we can discuss more.